Pre-mixing your colors, do you have to do it? Is it better? Is it worse? Does it take you more time? Does it save you time? What colors do you mix up? What if you don't mix up enough colors? Can you get them back? So if you watch some YouTube oil painting videos, you've definitely seen people pre-mixing their colors. The main reason people pre-mix their colors is that it does save you time while you're painting. You're not having to worry about mixing up the colors. And some people like this. It's really a preference thing. You know, some people like not having to think so much about mixing colors as they're painting. So how do you pre-mix colors? First off, I recommend using a palette knife. You can use a brush. I don't think it's as good because you're not going to be able to like get all the paint off of your brush like you would a palette knife. A palette knife, you're going to mix it all up. You're going to be able to, pull the paint right off onto your palette, pre-mix it. So get a good palette knife, and it might take you a little while if you've never like used a palette knife and pre-mixing colors to like get the hang of how to toss the paint. But also make sure, err on the side of caution and mix a little more paint, a little more of each color than you think you need, because yes, you can go back and remix a color. Like, don't ever a lot of people think like, oh, like I'll never get that color back, like it was so precise, like as if they're getting paint for their walls at Home Depot and they have to get the special machine to like get it exactly right. Like, you'll be able to get your color back. You're getting the colors right now. Like, you're looking at the photo and you're matching the colors and working until you get the color, so you will be able to get it back. But just to save you time and save you the hassle of having to remix the color twice, don't be afraid. Get some paint out on the knife and really mix up a good pool of paint for each color so you don't run out. One of the great things about pre-mixing your colors is that you can use your palette knife as you're pre-mixing the colors to check the colors with your reference photo, and you can actually put your reference photo right next to it. You can even sometimes like put like it in a plastic sleeve so you can actually get the paint on the photo, and it's just getting on the plastic sleeve. But I've seen a lot of people do that. They'll put their photo, or if they're working from a smaller study that they've done, or they're trying to match colors from a previous painting, they'll put their painting in like a plastic sleeve so that they can actually mark the painting with the paint to see that they got the right color. Also, you get to see your colors next to each other. So you get to see them all next to each other first on the palette, and making sure that all the values are working correctly and that all the colors are working together and look right on the palette before you go to the canvas. All right, so if you do end up pre-mixing your colors, don't by any means think that those are the only colors that you can use, or you're not going to have to keep mixing color. You're going to have to keep mixing color. Those are just the kind of, our jumping off point, like dial you in a little bit closer, but you're still going to have to, as you're painting, make colors that are between those colors, adjust those colors. So you're still going to have to do mixing as you go. For me, probably the best thing about pre-mixing colors is that it allows you to focus just on color when you're mixing the color. Now, as I said before, you're still gonna have to mix colors as you go, but when you're pre-mixing the colors, you get a chance to just worry about color. If you're mixing as you're painting, you're still worrying about drawing, you're worrying about perspective, you're worrying about your brushwork, all this other stuff, along with mixing the right color. But if you're pre-mixing your colors, all you're worrying about is color. More importantly, you're worrying about value, and that's what people mess up the most. It's not color. Color's not that difficult. It's value. And value is how light or dark an object is. And with something that's very subtle like the face, people tend to push the values way too extreme. The face it's all very subtle shifts in value. And when you are able to mix up your colors and see your colors side by side on your palette before you put on your canvas, it allows you to see if they are working well together. And it's going to take time for you to develop an eye to see value, but to be able to look and see a shadow on the face and see how that shadow compares and like how light or dark it is to the like the highlight or the lighter area right next to it, and you can copy that value difference on your palette before you even start painting. You can take as much time as you like mixing the color and mixing the value and lighten and darken it, so you got it as close as you can. So the fact that it allows you just to focus on just that aspect of value and color might be worth it for you to try and do. I've seen a lot of plein air painters do it because they'll kind of grab their colors because the light is always changing. So they mix up their colors first, so now they got their colors, and now they don't have to spend time trying to get the right color. They've already gotten it, and then they can paint their scene a lot quicker. Now, there are some downsides to pre-mixing your colors. One is time, I mean, yes, you're gaining time when you're actually painting, but you know, depending on the situation, if you are plein air painting and your light is changing fast, you're going to want to just paint it right away, because shadows are going to change. And if you want to capture like shadows or a cloud or something there, you're going to have to just go. Also, just me personally, like I like to just jump into a painting. You know, the worst thing, the less time that I can see a blank canvas, the better. You know, just getting paint on the canvas as soon as possible is just going to make me feel a whole lot better. Even if it's not the right color, it doesn't matter to me. I just want to get something on there just to get some momentum going. And if I had to sit there and just pre-mix all these colors, it just, I don't know, to me, it seems like an unfun way to start a painting. Some people love it. Some people do amazing work doing it. And if you like it, go for it. Another downside that I've seen happen to certain people is they become a little too rigid with it, because they pre-mix their colors and then all of a sudden they start treating their painting like it's a paint by numbers, and they got all their colors already mixed out, and it's like, all right, this color goes here, this color goes here, this color goes here. And that's not what you want to be thinking about when you're oil painting. You know, especially oil painting, because the greatest thing about oils is, you know, how fluid they are, and how, you know, when you put a color down, you can change the color by putting more color into it. They don't dry, so you can mix other colors into it, and that's when you get some really cool effects with oil paint. So do you have to mix in medium when you're pre-mixing these colors? I wouldn't recommend it, just because then you're stuck with that consistency of paint for the rest of the painting. Whereas if you didn't mix any medium in it, you can always add in medium as you go later on. So for that reason, I would lay off on the medium. If you're painting from life, this isn't really going to work. I've seen some people do it, but technically you can't really do it, because we don't have a great as value range with paint as, you know, real life is what we see. So if you're doing it and trying to hold it up, it's probably not going to work that great. You're just gonna have to eyeball it. But if you are using a photo reference or doing it from a study, you can, you know, hold it right next to it and mark on it and get the exact color. So if your painting's gonna last more than one day and you really want to save those colors you mixed up a lot of those colors and you want to save them, you don't want to waste the paint, you don't want it to dry out, you can, it's a little trick, you can take your palette and put your palette in the freezer. You might want to, you know, wrap it with some plastic or something, but you can put your palette in the freezer and your colors will not dry out. I am Chris Fornatero here telling you to go get painting.